Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for another session on the Natural Capital Valuation Hub Valuation Dialogue Series. We are delighted to have you again with us for this important and timely conversation. The Natural Capital Valuation Hub is a Canadian community of practice initiative dedicated to advancing the understanding and the application of natural capital valuation through research, collaboration, and dialogue. The hub works to bridge the gap between ecological systems and economic decision making, helping organizations, policymakers, and professionals better account for nature in financial and strategic decisions. At its core, NatCap Valuation Hub is about asking a fundamental questions. How do we value what has long been invisible in our economic systems? And today, discussion speaker directly address this challenge. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce our featured speaker today, Ms. Neila Benzina. Ms. Benzina is the founder of Wimby, a leading player in artificial intelligence, data analytics, and digital transformation with operations across France, Tunisia, Spain, Poland, and very soon Canada and the United States of America. She's also the co-founder of Africa Tech Academy, including Horberton School Tunisia and Compusna, and EdTech platform focused on professional learning and upskilling. Previously, as a CEO of Business Decision Middle East and Africa, she led over 100 400 consultants and spearheaded large-scale digital transformation initiatives, combining strategy, technology, and organizational change. As an entrepreneur at heart, Ms. Benzina has built and scaled multiple ventures at the intersection of AI, data, and education, and has been deeply involved in shaping digital ecosystems across Europe and Africa. She's actively engaged in the Franco Tunisian and African innovation landscape, serving on several advisory boards and leading key initiatives supporting entrepreneurship, digital transformation, and women in technology. Her contributions have been widely recognized. She was named among the 50 most influential women in Africa by Jeune Afrique, included in the Forbes France 50 over 50 list in 2025. And last summer, she was honored as Chevalier de la Légion d'honneur by the French Republic. Wimby also is a very strong partner in our SHIRK partnership grant proposal dealing with using AR for natural capital valuation. Today, Ms. Benzina will speak on natural assets, the blind spot in your data. And this topic brings a critical and much needed perspective, highlighting how natural capital is not only an environmental issue, but increasingly a data, strategy, and decision making challenge for organization. Welcome, Ms. Benzina, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Samir. It's an honor for me to be here and to be invited, and always a pleasure to participate to all your events, physically or virtually.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very pleased and honored to have you among us. Let's start with the very basic questions, Mr. Benzina. Why do you call natural assets the blind spot in your data?
Because most organizations are already highly data driven. But, and of course there is a big but here, only within the boundaries of what they currently measure well already. Financial data, customer data, supply chain data, operational data. These are structured, governed, and integrated into decision making, but natural assets usually are not. So the blind spot here is not that the nature doesn't matter. It is that nature is still poorly captured in enterprise data systems. Water dependency, biodiversity exposure, soil degradation, ecosystem services, resource stress, these factors often sit outside the dashboards that shape strategic decisions. And what is not properly represented in data rarely gets properly governed, as you know, for sure. That is why natural capital remains underweighted in risk models and investment, and also in investment logic, in performance indicators, and also in long-term plannings.
Yeah, this is extremely important. This is extremely insightful. And let's assume that I am a business leader. Why should I care about natural asset now and right now and not later? Why it is so important right now?
Because this is no longer a sustainability communication issue. it is becoming a business resilience issue. Natural assets affect operations, supply continuity, regulatory exposure, insurance costs, asset valuation, and reputation. If a company depends on water, land, raw materials, agriculture inputs, ecosystem stability, or climate sensitive infrastructure, then natural capital is already embedded in its business model. The challenge is that many firms still treat these dependencies as externalities. And it's not the case, when in reality, they are increasingly and more turning into operational and financial, variables. So the question is no longer should we care about natural assets? The real question is can we still today afford to manage the business as if these dependencies were invisible?
Yeah, this is very interesting. And now we bring that data perspective, which Wimby really is at the core vision and mission of Wimby company. What is it, the link between natural capital and data strategy?
Okay, then this is a very good one. The link is fundamental here. If natural capital is not part of your data strategy, then it will for sure remain in the periphery to the decision making. A mature data strategy is not only about collecting more data, it is about deciding what reality the organization wants to make visible, measurable, comparable, and actionable. Integrating natural asset into data strategy means asking some questions, fundamental questions. What nature related dependencies and impacts are material to our business, for example? Where do they sit in our value chain? What internal and external data sources can help us monitor them? How do we connect them to operational, financial, and strategic decisions? This is where sustainability meets data governance. Without that bridge, natural capital remains an isolated reporting outside, of the strategic thoughts, an isolated reporting topic instead of becoming a management and strategic topic.
I agree. I strongly agree. I don't think that we have to simplify this natural asset valuation just for reported purpose. I agree with you that government, organization, SMEs, they need to embed this natural capital in their strategy, in their business model, in the way they do manage risk. And now the question, now you kind of converted us that it's not really a simply reporting or verification issue, it's more than that. And AI can help accomplish this. But the question is where can AI help and where AI cannot do this?
Okay, AI can help a lot for sure, but only if we are clear about its role. AI can support data integration across fragmented sources. It can also support pattern detection, scenario analysis, document processing, anomaly detection, which is one of the strengths of AI and the let's say powerful use of AI tools, geospatial interpretation, and decision support. For example, an AI can help organizations process large volumes of sustainability disclosures, satellite or environmental data sets, supplier data, or unstructured reports much faster than traditional methods, for sure. But AI cannot replace strategic judgment. It cannot decide materiality on its own. If it cannot define what should matter to the organization, and it cannot resolve governance issues if the enterprise hasn't clarified ownership, purpose, and accountability. So I would say AI is an accelerator, but it's not and it should not be a substitute for institutional clarity.
Amazing. Now, let's assume that I'm a company in beautiful Quebec City, and I want to start. What will be the first practical, pragmatic step?
Okay, then if you want to make things happen and if we want to turn, this into reality, we have to start with materiality and use cases, not with technology, because there are so many companies and people within organizations that think that technology and tools or solutions will solve all the problems, that they don't tackle the right problems and the right issues. The first question is not what tool should we use, it is where does nature materially intersect with our business model. That means identifying a limited number of priority areas: water dependency, land use, biodiversity sensitive sites, supply chain exposure, physical risk, ecosystem service dependency, and so on and so forth. Then you have to define one or two business use cases: better supplier risk visibility, for example, site selection, investment screening, operational resilience, reporting readiness, scenario planning. Once the use case is clear, you can work backwards to data needs, governance needs, and technology choices. Starting with platforms before clarity usually creates noise, and problems, not clarity. Then you have to start with business needs and use cases.
Amazing, amazing. Now, we understand that there is a role of government regulator and standard setter. Like if today you have the chairman of the an official from the Canadian government, or the chairman of the International Sustainability Standard Board, or the chairman of the Canadian Sustainability Standard Board, what role do you think they play in accelerating the integration of natural asset into corporate system?
It's a decisive one because this shift is cross-functional by nature. If leadership treats natural capital as a side topic, owned only by sustainable teams, integration will remain superficial. But if leaders frame frame this topic, frame it as a strategic data and resilience issue, then it becomes possible to mobilize finance, operations, procurement, risk, and technology together. Leadership matters because this is not just a measurement challenge, it is a prioritization challenge. Leaders decide what enters the core management agenda and what remains on the margins. And today, bringing natural assets into data and decision systems is ultimately a leadership decision.
Yeah, I echo each and every single word you said. I kind of agree with you. Now, I go back to the kind of data challenge and data gaps. And you are dealing with clients in terms of their digital transformation and all of that. And when it comes to natural asset valuation using AI, what do you think are the biggest data gaps organization face when trying to account or use AI to value and account for natural capital? What are the data gaps or challenge they face in this journey?
In fact, I would answer by saying there are most of the organizations are struggling to integrate, natural assets into their systems because of four reasons. First, data fragmentation. Relevant information exists across operations, procurement, ESG teams, geospatial sources, regulators, and external providers, but it is not integrated. Second, there is a lack of standardization. Natural capital is harder to capture than revenue or inventory because it involves ecosystems, dependencies, thresholds, and context-specific indicators. And the third reason is ownership ambiguity. Who owns the topic? Sustainability, finance, risk operations, data, strategy. When ownership is unclear, actions slows down. And
Absolutely.
fourth, there is a fourth reason is translation difficulty. Even when data exists, many organizations struggle to translate environmental signals into business languages, risk language, or investment language. So the issue here is not just missing data, it is missing architecture, missing governance, and missing translation.
I, I strongly agree with you. Now, we said there is data challenges, but with AI, you know, everybody now is kind of thinking there is a lot of data. There is, in fact, data overload, right? And the question becomes is how can organizations avoid this data overload while still capturing what truly matters about nature? Like what's this nice balance? What's the how company can avoid getting a lot of data, but by the same time getting what is important about nature?
Okay, then how should organizations maybe also think about natural assets in valuation and decision making? This is the real question. They should think of natural assets and decision relevant variables not as an optional ethical overlay. Valuation is not only about assigning a monetary number to nature. It is also about recognizing the nature related dependencies and degradation affect and degradation as something that affect future cash flows, cost structures, asset resilience, operational continuity, and strategic optionality. So the real shift is moving from nature as an external concern to nature as a factor in enterprise value. In practice, that means integrating nature related variables into risk frameworks, capex decisions, asset planning, supply chain strategy, scenario models, and board level reporting. The organization that move first will not necessarily have perfect data, but they will have a better map of what should or what could threaten or strengthen long-term value. This is how organization should think about natural assets in valuation and decision making. It's not a data topic or only a data topic, it's more than that.
Very fascinating. It looks like you are reading my brain. In fact, my next question that I have for you is, so organization focus is core to capturing and valuing natural capital using AI. And then it becomes the question of capabilities, right? We need to have the capabilities to do that. And based on your experience, what capabilities or organizational changes are required to embed natural capital into core business processes?
Okay, then in fact, this echoes the topic of getting prepared and putting in place a framework inside the organization that will, help the whole workforce and the whole teams to face, the topics in the good way. Then there is a kind of change management, and we have to tackle, this transition in the good way. How? What is a good way? It's creating the awareness inside the organization by putting in place trainings, tools that will, show how important it is to get ready and to to give the right sense of emergency, of urgency inside the companies for the nature topics. And on the other side, we have also to use the reportings and the indicators that are, let's say, that exist in within the public area, in order to pull or to stress internally how on that topics, in order to make sure that the whole teams will get ready at the right moment. Otherwise, there is that they have to be aware of the threat that they will face if they don't they don't get prepared. Then there is a kind of preparation by uh, training the workforce, but there is also some stress that you have to put on the table in order not to wait too long. Then I think the transition will be possible if we combine both acculturation with some obligations.
Uh, really, these are very reasonable and advice for free you are giving to organization that want to get and build up capability in their journey to using AI to value natural capital. And, I'm not really sugarcoating the Social Science and Humanity Research Council because personally I owe all my success, my success in academic career, to the generous funding I got from Shirk, let alone this Shirk Partnership Research Grant. This is the focus, is having academia and industry practitioner partnering to do this kind of inquiry that is at core of intersection between like business and scientific rigor with real world problems. And I remember when I approached you to be a partner of Natural Capital Valuation Hub, you said absolutely yes, and strong yes. And you are one of the strong partner with our Natural Capital Valuation Hub. And this is my
Because
question for you. Yeah, go ahead,
because
please.
because I believe, Dr. Samir, in all what you are doing in that field, and the awareness that you are bringing, thanks to the conferences and thanks to the panels that you are organizing. I have been involved in some of your conferences, and I'm sure that it's a very good way to put the subject on the table and to make organizations and company become aware of the importance of the topic, not only for them but for the whole ecosystem. Then
Yeah.
I strongly believe in what all you are doing and the way in which you are tackling the subject.
No, and I really want to thank you for being that a generous partner for us. But my question is building upon what you just said. How can partnership between technology provider and AI company like Wimby, scientists and businesses accelerate the progress and accelerate the natural capital valuation using AI agenda? How can this can getting all these people together, what they're bringing to the table? Let's assume that I'm Shirk or I'm the government of Canada or I'm like a standard setter. What this partnership? How? What's the value added of having technology firm, academics, and businesses? How they're going to be instrumental in accelerating this progress on natural capital valuation using AI?
Then again, let's say that again, I would recommend not to see the problematic or this topic from the technical, as a technology, it's as a tool, topic or a technological topic. But coming from the world of AI and data, uh, what, let's say, drew me to this topic is precisely the gap between what organizations say matters and what their data systems are actually able to represent. In AI and data, we often talk about optimization, prediction, and decision intelligence. But if critical dimensions of reality are missing from the data model, then even the most advanced systems are optimizing against an incomplete picture. Natural assets are one of the clearest examples of that gap. So for me, this topic sits at the intersection of technology, responsibility, and strategic realism. And this is why I think that the combination between AI experts who can put on the table use cases and make, the parallel between different areas where use cases have brought uh, tangible results to this topic, and put on the table also political decision makers, ecosystem, decision makers also. We can create the right, and of course academies and academic players. We can here create the right momentum in order to make the change happen, and to use all the assets that we have in order to accelerate and to go to the right, let's say, to the right direction. This is, I think, there is a kind of momentum here to use AI as an acceleration, and to let's say rely on all the know-how and all the expertise and the reflections that are already on track in order uh, to reach the right results, and to create the impact, because the idea is here to have the right impact.
Listen, you know that I'm on that cluster of enthusiasts about the capability of AI, the capability of a strong academic research team with a strong partner to accomplish and to deliver on how we can use AI to value natural capital, from and to be embedding this indigenous perspective. But I know also among our viewers, there is some people that are skeptical. And those
Yes.
skeptical, they scratch their head, they say, what are the risks? Either one risk or the risks, if they're too many, of getting it wrong. I mean, of measuring natural capital either poorly or superficially. What are the risks of getting all of this wrong?
Okay, then, in fact, there are many companies, uh, who the what let's say one major misconception is that this is a future issue, or a purely reputational issue. This is the risks that company now are, let's say, seeing, and they are thinking, the most important ones. In reality, it is already a current issue, and an operational one, because companies are already exposed. They just do not always have the visibility or data maturity or governance framework to recognize it clearly. Then the risk here is not to be aware, and to have a real reputational, for example, or operational impact today, without knowing where it comes from. Then I think there is something here to create, and to see as a real risk, in order to avoid, having a big problem, a big crisis to face, without being prepared for that. Then I think the companies uh, need perfect data here before acting. The risk of not having the right data is also a risk of not tackling the right problems. And here they need to have the perfect data before acting. They need a serious starting point, a materiality lens, and the willingness. And this is, I think, the most important part, the willingness to build progressively. They have to start somewhere. And the risk not to start today is not only to not to be aware of the problems that they already have, but the problems will become bigger and bigger and more dangerous. Then these, I think, are the risks that the company are now facing of not being aware of the problem.
Thank you. Now I'm going to open the floor for our viewers to ask their question. And I can see there is one question from Don Clarkson. Do you think the real opportunity, do you think the real opportunity for SMEs to use AI for prediction, for reporting, or for operational decision support? Where is the strongest business case?
Do you think the real for SMEs is to use AI for prediction, for reporting, or for operational? Then the question is it prediction, reporting, or operational decision support? Which one is the real business case? This is a question.
Yeah.
I think as I said before, that the need here is for uh, all of them: prediction, reporting, and operational decision support. Because AI is a way to make to make better predictions, and it's something that we have to use in order to accelerate prediction. AI also brings, the possibility to do better reportings and to create also the right framework for operational decision support. Then my answer will be the three of them. The strongest business case maybe is prediction, because thanks to AI, we are able now to have pattern recognition and to be able to better predict what could happen, the threats, the risks, and to get prepared for that and to anticipate. Then maybe one of the business cases that we are seeing the most, applicable is the one of for prediction. Even if I insist on paying attention to the three of them.
Next question. If there is another question, I'll ask how can AI integrate diverse data sources, satellite data, sensor, financial data to better capture natural capital dependency and impact? So, how can we bring all of this data with AI?
Okay, then I'm I will, if we were both advising a board tomorrow, is it this question or is it another
Yeah,
question?
yeah, there is a question. I will give, I mean, I asked most of my questions. I will give the opportunity for our viewer to ask their own questions. So this is a question from Mr. Selim Dries. Amazing talk, Professor Trapezi and Ms. Benzina. If you are both advising on board tomorrow, what is the one question you would want director to absolutely start asking management about natural assets that they are probably not asking today?
It's a very good one. Because today most of the let's say the directors within management teams don't ask a lot of questions about natural assets. And one of the most ones they should ask, and they shouldn't, uh, let's say, avoid, or they shouldn't miss, it's being being aware that the real architecture of business resilience and long term value creation is based on natural assets. And this is the question that they should always put, at the heart of their questions for the board members, uh, having natural assets not being a peripheral sustainability topic. It's not longer whether nature matters. The question is whether their data, governance, and decision systems are mature enough to reflect that reality. And I think if they are aware of, if they put that on the table, they will get organized, they will have the right organization internally in order to create the conditions to make this work properly. And that is where I think the next major shift will happen within organizations.
Next question. A lot of AI conversation assume firms have large internal teams, mature systems, and clean historical data. How can SMEs realistically use AI for natural asset monitoring without over investing in tools they are not ready to absorb? And always this kind of sustainability rated issue, company, they look at them as costly. They don't look at them as opportunities.
In fact, what we have to be aware of is that now let's say the volume of data is something that, of course, for large companies will allow them to have the most effective or the best answers, thanks to the history and thanks to the ability to use their historical data in order to better predict or to better put in place the right patterns recognition or things like that, thanks to AI. But today with AI, even SMEs, without having this, volume of data internally, are able to use the data that is available, outside the company, and that will be processed thanks to AI in order to accelerate for them the decision making and the ability for them to monitor AI for natural asset without having internal tools. They can use external tools, which is possible thanks to AI, in order to be able to absorb the volume of data without having internal tools that will do that. And now we are putting in place, for example, within WIMB, many solutions for SMEs and even startups sometimes, without having to implement a big, a heavy tool internally. They can rely on external tools, or tools that are, kind of cloud based, without having to invest a lot in internal tools. And it's an opportunity right now that we can, use and leverage for SMEs. And I think now SMEs will, do kind of leapfrog. They will go, quicker than they used to close the gap that they might have with big companies, thanks to AI. And we are now witnessing many, one-person company or startup doing way more better than established companies, thanks to agents, thanks to uh, automated tools, without investing in internal tools, but by using AI and cloud-based solutions.
Next question. For most SMEs, the challenge is not big data, but messy. In fact, this go with my question that I was about to ask, but messy and complete scattered data. In your view, what is the minimum viable data foundation an SMEs needs before AI can add real value to natural capital valuation?
Uh, what is viable data foundation? Okay, then of course, if we talk about data, the topic here is not. Uh, or let's say I will reframe it. The problem is not big data. It's messy, fragmented, and low trust data. Let's be very concrete and pragmatic. SMEs do not need a perfect data platform to start creating value on natural capital. They need a minimum viable data foundation that does three things. Makes data usable, not perfect, usable, not perfect, links operations, environmental impact. Then when you link operations, you will have environmental impact. And three, having repeatable things over time. Then, if we come back to the minimum viable data foundation, you don't start with ESG tools, you start with what the company already produces: production volumes, energy consumption, water usage, raw materials, waste generated, even if it's in Excel or it's incomplete or it's inconsistent. That's fine. This is your base layer. If we talk about basic structuring layer, which is the real game changer, this is where most SMEs fail. And you need here a single source of truth, even a simple one, a common format, same units, same naming, a time dimension, monthly minimum. And concretely, this means one shared Excel or Airtable or simple database, standardized fields, and one owner responsible for updates. Third, you have to map, to do the mapping to impact and bridge to natural capital. This is the minimum step to move from data to meaning. You need emission factors, simple mappings, and you don't need precision, you need directionally correct. And there is traceability. Good enough, not perfect. You must be able to answer what let's say, where does this number come from? This is very important. And here, the minimum requirement is to identify the right sources, let's say invoice, meter, estimate, things like that, and the level of confidence, high, medium, low. And there is a repeatability, let's say, topic. This is what creates value. Natural capital valuation is not a one-shot exercise. It's something that you will do by iterations. Then you need same data collected every month or quarter, same method, and the ability to compare over time. This is, I think, very important, because not having repeatability will lead to no decision-making power. I think this is the most important thing to say and what a viable setup actually looks like for an SME. It's and what is a perfectly acceptable minimum viable data for SMEs is one centralized spreadsheet or a simple tool, 5 to 10 key indicators tracked monthly, and it has to be monthly. 70% data coverage. We don't need to have 100% of it. A basic impact, conversion factors, and one person accountable. That's it. I think that for an SME can make the whole framework work well.
Amazing. We have time for one last question. Oh my, this is an important, it's in French. Anyway, Natural Capital Hub is meant to be bilingual, and I'm so pleased to have this question en French. L'IA peut générer des tableaux de bord impressionnants qui reposent sur des hypothèses peu solides. Comment aborder ces questions de qualité lorsqu'elles se recourent à l'IA pour nos décisions?
Okay, then you want me to translate that in English?
No, you can answer either in French or in English.
Okay, is most of our audience English speaking or speakers, or is it French speakers?
I think you're free to, we are bilingual. Canada is bilingual. You can answer in French if you want.
Okay, then AI generated insights can indeed look, let's say, very impressive on the surface, let's say, but they are fundamentally built on assumptions and often on imperfect, fragmented data. So the real question is not can we use AI, but can we trust what goes into it?
Absolutely.
When using AI for decision making, especially in areas like natural capital, we need to be very disciplined, extremely disciplined about three things, I think. Let's say three things: data quality, understanding where the data comes from, how complete it is, and what is limitation, what its limitations are. This, I think, is very important. Second, the second uh, thing that we have to be very disciplined about is transparency of assumptions, being clear on the models, on the proxies and approximations that have been used. Three, the third thing that we have to be very, let's say, disciplined again about is the level of confidence, distinguishing between what is measured, what is estimated, and what is inferred. Because if the data is messy, AI doesn't fix it. It can actually amplify the illusion of precision. So the goal here is not perfection, but controlled reliability, building a foundation where we know what we know, what we don't know, we know what we know well, we know what we don't know, and how much we can trust the output and the result. That's what makes AI a real decision support tool, and not just a sophisticated storytelling engine. I think maybe this is my answer to the question.
Thank you, Miss Neila. Uh, in 1 minute, if our viewer today and the thousand of viewers that are gonna watch the recording after this session is over will go with one main takeaway from your talk. What will be? Just
Okay.
one.
Just one
Or
main.
three. Okay, we'll go for three. But in 1 minute.
Okay, now maybe if there is one idea I would leave with the audience, it is this one. Natural assets are not a peripheral sustainability topic. They are becoming part of the real architecture of business resilience and long term value creation. I would like to insist on that. And the question for organizations is no longer whether nature matters. The question here is whether their data, governance, and decision systems are good enough, are mature enough, are ready enough to reflect that reality and that important reality. And this is, I think, where the next major shift will happen. Maybe this is something that I would leave the audience with. And if there is one takeaway for me, is don't wait for perfect data to start creating value, but never ignore what you don't know. Natural capital decisions don't require perfect systems, they require clarity. Clarity on your data, clarity on your assumptions, and clarity on your level of confidence. Then it makes it's kind of echo with the previous question, but I think it's also a good takeaway from this session, because AI and sophisticated models won't fix weak foundations. They
Thank you.
will, just make them look more convincing. So
Thank you
start.
so much, Ms. Benzina, for such an insightful and forward-looking discussion. I think and I strongly believe that your perspective on natural asset as the blind spot in the organization data has given us a powerful lens through which to rethink how company approach strategy, risk, and value creation. And in particular, I did really like the intersection you are making between AI, data, and natural capital. It highlights both the opportunities and the challenges ahead as we move forward to more informed and integrated decision making. And I think today's conversation reinforces a key message. What we choose to measure and how we measure it will ultimately shape the decisions we will be making. We are very pleased to continue this important dialogue in our next session with Natural Capital Valuation Dialogue Series. It will take place on April 17. We will be hosting Mr. One of the also the solid industry pillar for NatCap Valuation Hub, Mr. Jean-Philippe Levasseur from the beautiful city of Chicoutimi in Quebec. The session will be in French, and there will be a translation in English. And the title of Mr. Jean-Philippe Levasseur, the CEO of Carbone Québec, will be Les PME au cœur du capital naturel, mesurer, planifier et implanter. This session will bring a critical perspective on the role of small and medium-sized enterprises in advancing natural capital practices, focusing on practical approach to measurement, planning, and implementation. We hope you guys will join us as we continue exploring how natural capital can be integrated into business and economic systems. Thank you all very much for being with us. You have an amazing, wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Thank you, Ms. Naila, for
Bye-bye.
joining us today.
It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you.